You may have heard that beef liver can be dangerous, especially because of vitamin A, but is that actually true or just misunderstood? Let's take a closer look. Beef liver has been called one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. But recently, a lot of people have started asking a different question. Is beef liver actually dangerous? More specifically, could you be getting too much vitamin A? It's a fair question and one that confuses a lot of people, especially now that beef liver supplements have become popular. So in this video, we're going to look at the truth about vitamin A, how much is too much, and whether beef liver is something you should be worried about or simply understand better. Because the answer isn't as extreme as many headlines make it sound. Why beef liver became so popular? Over the past few years, beef liver has made a big comeback. In fact, many people now refer to it as nature's multivitamin, and there's a reason for that. Beef liver is packed with important nutrients, things like vitamin A, B12, iron, copper, and several other compounds that support energy, red blood cells, and overall health. For some people, especially as they get older, these nutrients can be harder to get enough of through diet alone. That's why liver supplements started gaining attention. But whenever something becomes popular in the health world, questions follow soon after. And one concern comes up again and again: vitamin A toxicity. So let's talk about that. How does vitamin A support our body? Before we talk about whether it can be dangerous, it helps to understand why vitamin A matters in the first place. Vitamin A plays several important roles in the body. It supports vision, especially in low light. It helps maintain your immune system. It also plays a role in skin health and cellular repair. In other words, it's not just another vitamin, it's essential. And beef liver happens to be one of the richest sources of it. But here's where people start to get concerned. Because unlike some vitamins, vitamin A is fat-soluble. That means your body stores it instead of simply getting rid of the excess quickly. And this is where moderation becomes important. Can you get too much vitamin A? Yes, technically, you can. But this is where context matters. Vitamin A toxicity, also known as hypervitaminosis A, usually happens when someone consistently consumes extremely high amounts over a long period of time. We're not talking about occasionally eating liver or taking a normal supplement dose. We're talking about large, repeated excess. And most people never come close to that level. In fact, for the majority of people, the bigger issue isn't getting too much. It's actually not getting enough of key nutrients in the first place. Still, it's smart to understand where the line is. Because when people hear that liver contains a lot of vitamin A, it can sound alarming without the right explanation. Where does confusion start? One reason this topic gets confusing is because information online can sound very dramatic. You might see headlines saying liver is toxic or dangerous, but those statements usually leave out an important detail: dose. Almost everything in nutrition depends on how much you consume and how often. For example, even drinking too much water can be harmful in extreme cases, but that doesn't make water dangerous. The same idea applies here. Beef liver is extremely nutrient-dense, which simply means it should be consumed in reasonable amounts. And when it is, it can actually be quite beneficial. Who should pay extra attention? Now, there are a few groups of people who should be more mindful. For example, individuals who are already taking high-dose vitamin A supplements might want to check their total intake. And certain medical conditions can affect how the body handles fat-soluble vitamins. This is why it's always a good idea to talk with a healthcare provider if you're unsure. But for most healthy adults, moderate intake, whether through food or properly dosed supplements, is generally considered safe. And that's the key word here: moderate. Beef liver versus supplements. Another thing people wonder about is whether liver supplements are different from eating actual liver. In many cases, supplements are simply freeze-dried liver in capsule form. That means the nutrients are still there, just concentrated. But reputable supplement brands typically design their doses so that people aren't consuming extreme amounts. This is also why following the recommended serving size matters. More isn't always better when it comes to nutrient-dense foods. Sometimes, the goal is simply to fill nutritional gaps, not overload the system. What most people should really focus on. Interestingly, when researchers look at overall nutrition patterns, they often find that many people, especially as they age, are more likely to be lacking certain nutrients rather than consuming too much. Things like B vitamins, magnesium, and omega-3 tend to be more common concerns. That's part of the reason foods like liver attract attention in the first place. They provide a wide range of nutrients in one place. But like many things in nutrition, the goal isn't extremes, it's balance. Understanding what you're taking, why you're taking it, and staying within reasonable amounts. Conclusion: so is beef liver dangerous? For most people, the answer is no, when consumed in moderation. The concern about vitamin A comes from situations where intake becomes excessively high over long periods. But that's very different from using liver occasionally or taking a normal supplement dose. In fact, when used appropriately, beef liver can be a valuable source of important nutrients. The key is awareness, not fear. If there's a supplement or health topic you'd like me to cover next, feel free to leave it in the comments. I do read them, and it helps me decide what to make next. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more videos where we break down supplements and health topics in a simple, balanced way, especially for men looking to stay healthy as they age. And as always, this video is for educational purposes only. If you're considering adding new supplements, it's always best to check with your healthcare provider. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.